Good morning, everybody. It's Marty, the JavaScript party, and Rhett is out in the living room. It is 8:47 a.m., May 7th. It is 62 degrees Fahrenheit outside. It's rainy. It's been started raining around 7 o'clock last night and hasn't stopped since. Didn't turn on my light over there, so it's a little dark on this side. Nope, on this side I'm dark. That always blows my mind. But I do have a light right there. I have a brighter light over there. Over there, I have a brighter light, and I guess that's the one that will normally brighten this side of my face up. Anyways, so we're trying to figure out, trying to, we are like this entire year, literally all of 2026, I've been in a rabbit hole, and the rabbit hole was around deleting, and the just basically the more the more I this so in my entire career, I'd say there's only a couple of times that I've worked in a on a web application that was kind of supposed to be like meant for people to sort of interact with really a lot, and then also sort of was going to be around would have long hour, 2 hour, 3 hour long sessions. So since I've never really worked on that before, I've never really had to be taking too much concern with memory leaks. And so since I haven't had to worry about memory leaks, I never really had to really put a lot of thought into the whether we have a or deleting. Like deleting was no big deal. You just create it and then whatever. When you refresh the page or whatever, any memory leaks, anything like that would just be taken care of automatically. But that is no longer the case. So I don't. So that's like a thing. I think what one thing we want is like if it's I know we wanted to have like a three thing path that you could have here. So right now it says data and entities, and if you select any of these, it'll change it. But then all of these are all ST, and then three would be that one. So, but we definitely want to start off with it in ST. We want to default to ST. So we want it to be like that to start, not like this to start. So let's do that next. So first things first is just to figure out how to do it. And I think I need to go to Angular Material and look at the API for this. Yesterday we did double check that I'm currently running on the very latest. So I'm on like 21.1. So I'm in this version of Angular. So we're good like that. And then it's this button toggle. And I think what I want to do is look at the API and see if it's obvious how you. Okay, so checked. So apparently I can say checked. So at this point is where I will typically put these on multiple lines. And honestly, the only reason I do that. So, okay, there's two reasons I do it. One is because a lot of times people, including myself, like if I have to go into work or whatever, you end up with like a narrow screen. And when you end up with like a narrow screen, um, some of these views can be quite difficult to I mean it can be difficult to be able to see things that are like over here. So so once I get more than one, that's one thing. And then the other thing that is kind of a big deal for me is that just invariably when you're working with other people, someone has to make a change in here. And your odds of having a Git conflict when you have things vertically like this. See, because Git operates on a line by line basis. So um, if you can put things vertically in lines, your chances of having Git conflicts get way lower and they're a lot easier. But when you have a big long line, you have much greater chance of a Git conflict and it's a little bit harder to make sense of. So anyway, that's why I like to kind of put things in. But I think what we want it to be is like checked. equals true. So let's see if that does. So my guess is what'll happen is the ST1 will be checked. Okay, so that's exactly what we want, but we actually want it to be calculated. So we want to be calculated based on a component level variable. And we want to like kind of set it. So we're going to say mode, and that is going to be a type, and it can either be one of two things. It can be 3, or it's a string, but it can either be 3 or it can be st. And then I'm going to set it to st to start. Now things can get weird here. I don't know. It's like the whole idea of Angular is being able to like tie these TS files to these HTML things, but you can end up with like these if things change too fast, you could end up with kind of a weird console log. But basically, I want this to be true, and I want it to be calculated, and it's going to be when mode. I think we can equals st. Let's see. So it's letting me say checked is equal to mode, but I want it to calculate it, and I feel like I can do this. Let's see. Let's just take a second, go back to Chat GPT, and then so I'm working in Angular. Usually that's enough. Sometimes you have to tell it the version. And I have this in my template. But I want it to want checked to be true when mode equals st. See, that's what didn't I try doing that? I could have sworn I tried doing that. Okay, so st lowercase. Now I kind of want it to be the same though, so when I do, well, let's see. Okay, so yeah, I guess that's fine. Okay, so that's good, and it's working. Oop, cancel. I think it's working anyways. Well, no, I don't know if it's working because it was unsaved. Now it's saying that is this unsaved as well? This is unsaved as well. There we go. All right, so basically we're going to, then we want the other one to be checked if it's equal to 3. So something very similar to this, but instead of st, we want it to be 3. 3. And then we want to tie on to this thing, and I'm assuming there's like a change. I don't know what the difference between value change and change is. I wonder if we can just look in here. Okay, so change. It's kind of weird because I don't see value. Oh, because I'm looking at the wrong one. I'm actually looking at the map button, and I actually want to look at the toggle group. So we got output is change, which is when the value changes, and I still don't see value change. That's weird. It's weird because my ID tells me that there's IDE is telling me that there's a value change, but the API says there's only a change. So I don't know. Change is equal to, and then we're gonna say layout change. And I'm gonna say dollar event, and I honestly don't know why it's dollar event, but shouldn't be willing to compile. And then event, and I'm just going to call that an any. I'm going to call it a string actually, see if it helps me. Event is string. And then console log. I'm pretty sure. Event, comma, event. All right, let's see what we get here. Okay, so it's saying, hey, you can't argument type mat toggle change. And this is what I wanted. This is what I want, what I really, really want. Tell you what I want, what I really, really want. I want to know what the type is. And then I always like to return a Boolean just for the sake of unit testing. All right, so now we're doing that. So now we know, like the IDE can help us and tell us what we're going to get. So we can get a source and a value apparently. So let's see what we get. Up in here, up in here. Here we go. Here we go. All right, change. There we go. So this is the whole thing. It's a mat toggle type. It has mat button toggle and the value of 3. Change. There we go. So what we can do is we can say this dot mode is equal to event dot value. I don't know if it'll let me do it. Yeah, no, it is letting me do it. I didn't know if it would be like, sorry, a value could be anything, blah 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 blah. I doubt that'll always work. That'll probably cause some kind of problem in the future. I don't know though. I think they kind of push it. Um, Changes like TypeScript as far as they can for a moment. It's probably going to take 10, 15 years if the browser, all this stuff survives. I mean, the browser is just so under attack right now. But if the browser and everything survives, then it would probably take 15 years before TypeScript is fully like absorbed. But we're gonna have to get people back into coding again because you have to be a fool to go to school to be a coder right now. It would just be crazy unless you just absolutely love it, which is what's great about it because during times like this you get the true love of people who are really into it. The fakers sort of disappear. All right, so we are going to show a different view based on whether we are in ST mode or in 3 mode. So let's just go ahead and for the moment, right over here, guess what we could do is actually, and so in my normal stuff, right, I don't typically, yeah, what is it? Oh no, it's different. See, I'm so used to work. Um, let me do this. If we were in an older version of Angular, I could just pop this back out, but I can't remember exactly how that Angular template language works. Yeah, that's right, because the color. Feet looks so much better. Okay, there we go. And now we want to, instead of that, we want to show our, and what is this? Mode. Just double check that the mode is changing properly. Okay. Yeah, so we're going to hide both of these on if it's ST, and and then we'll show our 3 view when it's this mode versus this mode. And that's where we're at. Happy coding, everybody. Bye.